Well, you had the chance to see sculptures just like this at MOSI for Dreaming in Bamboo.
And the artist, Alexander Nixon, is here with us today to tell us more about it. So welcome to the show. Great to have you here.
Thank you so much.
And you're a local. You grew up here in Tampa.
I'm a Tampa-native.
That's right. Okay, so tell me about your sculptures. These are amazing. They're all made out of bamboo.
Right. I collect bamboo from neighbors. I usually post something online asking if anyone has available bamboo. It grows very quickly. People are happy to part with it. So if anyone does have bamboo, I'm always on the lookout. And so that's a big fun part of my artwork is collecting the bamboo, building that community. And then when I collect the bamboo, I trim it, I process it, I turn it into coils that I can use to make things that you see here. This little head took a long time because of all the intricacies of the head, but I also make figures, bring animals to life. I try to tell stories with my sculpture, but it's all made of locally harvested bamboo.
That's so cool. How did you even think about this or get started with bamboo?
Trial and error mainly. I lived in New York for about 18 years doing a lot of drawings of subway riders on the way to work in the morning. When I worked for farmers markets, I drew a lot of people in the subway. But when I moved back to my hometown in Tampa, I wanted to try something a little more three-dimensional, and I started experimenting with different neighbors, yard waste. I was hanging out at my friend's house, and he had a yard with, he was constantly trimming things, and I thought, well, maybe I'll make some things out of natural materials, only to find out very quickly that even though some woods are very durable, the insects are happy to eat it up, but the bamboo I found was the most durable and versatile, and so I kind of took it and ran with it, and I've been working with bamboo exclusively ever since.
It's incredible.
Thank you.
Well, how does the process start? Does it start with the sketch? Do you just kind of, do it with your hands?
Great
and see
question.
Where it goes?
The thing I really learned is that unlike other sculpture like marble and ceramic, you're coping with gravity. So you need a skeleton on the inside, and the skeleton will help me map out the proportions. And you of course have to think in 3 dimensions and not just 2 dimensions. So you really have to think length, width, and height. It's just tricky because you can't. There's no room for error. But once you kind of master the process, it's really wonderful to see things go from, oh, I'd like to make a flying alligator to, oh, there I can see the flying alligator. And all the sculptures at the Museum of Science and Industry really are the result of all that hard work and trial and error.
Yeah, we're seeing some of the photos from the exhibit and the things that you have been creating, which, is it bendable? Like, it seems like it would be really difficult to mold it into these different shapes.
And that's why gravity can be a pain because, of course, even though it is more durable than I think people realize, it's pretty solid, still gravity is constantly warping things. And so the skeleton keeps it from, drooping or shifting. But I think also just, just something that it requires a little bit of thinking, well, how do I make something that can stand on its own? So, and it is very pliable, but I use the skeleton to keep it all, that outer shell is what people notice, but on the inside is a much more durable framework.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's one thing to kind of bend it into a circle or something large, but this is pretty intricate, like this face. How do you
and it requires tiny little, pieces to get that kind of detail. And so the head I found is the most tricky part of the body because of the ins and outs.
But even like the eyes and the nose, like, that's fascinating.
Yeah, it takes as long to make the head as it does to make the whole body.
Wow. Well, that looks very intricate. So we're coming to see this exhibit. What are you wanting people to learn or take away from something like this?
Well, I'm really proud of the exhibit because, well, one, I love the Museum of Science and Industry. I grew up here in Tampa, and everyone who grew up here knows the Museum of Science and Industry is like the church of childhood in Tampa. And so it's a real honor to be there. But also, I think I want people to say, oh, I can make artwork out of anything. And so I really like the idea of inspiring kids to get off their phones or get off their iPads and make things with their hands. And I think adults are really excited to see that people are still making art, and sculpture is really kind of undeniable. You can't really fake it with sculpture. And I think I'm pushing the boundaries into more storytelling with my sculpture. You see that with a few examples like Castaway, the person in the cage. I think there's a lot of room for storytelling with sculpture, and that's really what I want to keep doing.
Yeah, well, I'm just curious, did you always love art?
Yeah.
You kind of grew up loving
this. I grew up here, and I did a lot of drawing when I was growing up, and a lot of drawing in New York, a lot of collage. But I think I just wanted to discover a new form of expression, and bamboo just was the way to realize sculptures without having to pay for marble or ceramics or hurt myself with a chainsaw.
This is definitely. And this exhibit is going on right now. How long
at the Museum of Science and Industry. Right now, there's an exhibit at the Art Gallery, which is on the way up to the planetarium, which is a really popular thing to do at MOSI. Go to the planetarium, and and you'll see my artwork there on the way in. There's also a Vitruvian Man inspired by Da Vinci, which is part of the Da Vinci show at the Museum of Science and Industry, which will be there through March, and that's a really great show. I recommend that.
It's a good time to go check it out.
Absolutely. So what's next for you?
Well, I'd really like to get my artwork into a few other institutions around Tampa, and maybe this summer make some sculptures for people to see. I think my sculptures would be really happy at the Children's Museum, maybe Tampa International Airport, and because I'm a local and a native, I'd really like to start locally and eventually get to New York City, maybe Dubai, maybe Art Basel.
Amazing.
So the sky's the limit.
That's right. That absolutely is. Okay, if people want to come by and they want to see your exhibit, when can we do that, and how do we find out?
I think MOSI's hours are pretty much every day, and you can go see it on the way up to the planetarium at MOSI, and you can also see my Vitruvian Man on the entrance into MOSI. And so, yeah, I think every day they're open.
Yeah, MOSI.org. There's the website for you right there. You can go and check it out. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank
This
you.
is so cool.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.